What's going on, everybody? In this one, we're going to be going over how the Lakers have been going absolutely crazy in free agency. It seems like they've signed almost every big name free agent during this offseason, and it all started out with the Russell Westbrook trade. So this obviously brought a third star to the Lakers, definitely much needed for LeBron and Anthony Davis. And speaking of LeBron and Anthony Davis, that seems like it's basically the only players who are left on last year's roster as we look at who's been coming out of LA and who's been coming in free agency. In just the first 2 days, we've seen a ton of players already signed with the Lakers. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on all that and talk a little bit about these signings and then see what possibly they could do next with even more in the offseason with free agent deals and trades. So first of all, we got to go back to that Russell Westbrook trade, talk about who's out of LA. So obviously Kyle Kuzma, KCP, and Montrezl Harrell were a part of the Russell Westbrook trade. They all went to the Wizards. Who knows if the Wizards are going to keep all of them? Some of them could get bought out, but basically, that's the players the Lakers had to give up to bring in Westbrook to be their third star. So who are the Lakers going to put around these three stars that they have now in Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis? Well, they've already filled up basically their entire roster. I've counted 9 players that they've already signed in the first 2 days of free agency, and there's a lot of big names, a lot of big contracts. They filled out the roster pretty nicely. So what I thought they were going to do here is go for some three-point shooting, which they definitely have addressed, and also brought in a lot of good veterans that have been around the league and even have been on the Lakers before. So real quick, before we talk about who they brought in, 2 more players that have been out besides Kuzma, KCP, and Harrell is Ben Mclemore, who signed with the Portland Trailblazers, and then Andre Drummond signed with the Philadelphia 76ers. So the first move they made after Westbrook was bringing in a veteran in Trevor Ariza. Ariza has been a member of the Lakers in the past and definitely had a good run with the Lakers back when they had Kobe and Pau Gasol was a part of those teams, and has just been a solid veteran for many years now for many NBA teams. He brings some three-point shooting to the Lakers and a good wing defender as well. Probably going to be a big contributor during the season and in the playoffs. Another kind of similar player they brought in is Kent Bazemore. I can't remember if he had a stint with the Lakers or not. It seems like he has. He's had a lot of stints with teams, including the Warriors, on some of those really good Warriors teams. He kind of brings the same thing as Trevor Ariza, in my opinion. He brings defense and a little bit of outside shooting. And then a third veteran they brought in right after that, another 3-and-D guy, is Wayne Ellington. Probably more of a three-point shooter than the before-mentioned Trevor Ariza and Kent Bazemore, but definitely a knockdown shooter. Again, it seems like he has had a stint with the LA Lakers. I'll look that up and see if I can pull up a picture of that for the video. Then the next signing is they brought in Dwight Howard again. He was just on the Lakers championship team, and kind of Andre Drummond filled his role last season, but with Drummond out, Dwight came in. They kind of switched spots because Dwight was on the 76ers and now Drummond is. But a lot of people like Dwight, more of a fit for the Lakers, so pretty good signing there, and they definitely needed a big man with Montrezl Harrell going out as well as Drummond. The next player they brought in is Malik Monk. So Monk signed a pretty nice deal with them. Still a pretty young player, showed some signs last year, averaging 11 or 12 points per game with the Charlotte Hornets. A really athletic player and can also be a streaky shooter, but shoots pretty good percentages from 3. And with the Lakers, he's going to have to learn to play some more defense if he wants to get playing time here, but definitely could be a really good signing down the line for the Lakers. Has a lot of potential for them. And then the most recent signings we have here is Carmelo Anthony. So Carmelo finally gets to play with LeBron. I'm sure LeBron is stoked on that. We could even see Melo at some points during the season be the starting small forward or power forward if they're in a matchup where they need a little more offense. We could definitely see Carmelo having a big role on this team, and I'm excited to see how he fits in and how this Lakers team really goes about it with all these guys we've mentioned so far. So the Lakers still weren't done. They went out and then they signed Kendrick Nunn as well. He was supposed to be a pretty hot commodity on the free agent market. A lot of teams looking for a young, promising guard, and Kendrick Nunn is just that. I can't see him starting on this team because he's not really a superior three-point shooter to put at point guard, and then obviously Russell Westbrook's going to be starting, but a high-priced backup for the Lakers should bring some offense off the bench and some toughness. As well as their latest signing, they went back out and signed Talen Horton-Tucker, re-signed him, were able to keep him, and I can't believe I just disrespected the GOAT in this video by not mentioning Alex Caruso, signed with the Chicago Bulls, 4-year, I think about $37 million, a pretty good contract for Caruso, happy for him. But he's out of LA also, and they decided to re-sign THT instead of Caruso. I mean, someone had to go. I'm sure Lakers fans are sad to see Caruso go, but they got to keep a nice young player in Talen Horton-Tucker. So what's next for the Lakers? It seems like they've signed basically as many players as they possibly can, and a lot of players going out. Basically the only two main players from last year that are still going to be on the roster playing significant minutes is LeBron and Anthony Davis. So this roster is really shaken up. It's looking like the lineup's going to look something like this. We got Russell Westbrook at the point guard. Shooting guard, I actually like Malik Monk to start in this position. He has good size, a good shooter, and can become a good defender. Small forward, I feel like they're going to start Carmelo Anthony. He'll bring offense and scoring to that first unit. And then at power forward, we can go with LeBron, obviously, and center is going to be Anthony Davis. And then you're looking at your sixth man. It's looking like it's going to be Kendrick Nunn here. He definitely brings offense off the bench and some toughness. And then you got Ariza and Bazemore and Ellington. Is probably going to switch out of that 7th, 8th, 9th man in the rotation as a wing. And then for your big men, your backups, you got Dwight Howard. And I think the next move that they're going to have to make is to sign another big man to that center power forward spot. I think Marc Gasol is still available, as well as Markieff Morris. One of those guys could be still on the team for the start of next season, but it seems like they would need an upgrade here at another backup big man besides Dwight Howard. This definitely is a big reload for the Lakers. Are they going to be the championship favorites in the West or even the entire league? Does this put them ahead of the Brooklyn Nets, who haven't made too many big free agent signings so far? Let me know what you guys think about all this. The Lakers are going absolutely crazy. It's been a crazy first 2 days of free agency. Definitely going to keep updating on the free agency as we get deeper into this. Thanks for watching the entire video, and if you liked it, leave a comment about what you think, like the video, and subscribe for more NBA videos like this, and I'll see you guys in another one.